go. I just finished a review of the largest phone of 2018, and this massive phablet style phone lands on my desk. I suppose large is in season, as Huawei's Honor branded Honor Note 10 is another extremely big phone that came busting down my door with promises of higher mid-grade specs, including a strong camera and a smashing dual speaker system with Dolby Atmos built in. I'm Adam, tech editor with Gizmo China, and let's see if Huawei nailed it as I share with you what I think of the construction quality, specs, display, user experience, and camera in my review of the Honor Note 10. Starting with the clean unboxing experience is always a good thing, and Huawei ships the Honor Note 10 in a light diagonal texture with the name directly in the middle and the Honor branding on the bottom of the front. Inside you get a soft TPU case, a Huawei supercharge with USB-C 3.1 cable for some fast charging, a USB-C 3 to 3.5mm audio dongle, as this phone has no 3.5mm audio jack. There's some paperwork, and then a SIM tray ejector. Seems they didn't leave anything out of the box. Notchless is certainly the way of these big phones, and I like it. This is a higher level mid-grade device with an aluminum chassis sandwiched by 2.5D glass front and back. The design and finish is impeccable and makes this phone look and feel far more premium than its price suggests. I love the mirror black on this midnight black color option and feel it's not too much of a fingerprint magnet actually. I still recommend using a case just to make sure you don't have any issues. There's also a phantom blue color option. Placing the funky and unique dual camera module in the upper left corner with unfortunate AI camera text branding, and the modest fingerprint reader in the upper center with only the smallish Honor branding and some tiny text towards the bottom left kind of makes the phone seem fairly clean. Including the Honor branding on the front chin isn't a design I like, and I appreciate that most phone makers nowadays don't do this anymore. Hopefully it'll come off for the Note 11. Huawei said the device has a nano coating along the back that glitters, although I couldn't get the lighting right to reproduce the effect. However, overall, this is a stunner of a phone, glitter or not. The Honor Note 10 at 177mm tall, 85mm wide, and surprisingly thin at only 7.6mm deep feels fine in the hand, although the corners are a bit more edgy than I like. There's no doubt this is definitely not a one-handed device, but there's plenty of room to hold on while gaming or watching videos. Those videos will be viewed on a humongous 6.95-inch AMOLED screen with an 18.5:9 ratio, 2220 by 1080 screen, making for a somewhat smooth 355 ppi. Pixels are still going to likely be visible, but shouldn't heavily affect the visual experience. The device has HDR10, which helps in contrasty scenes, and seems pretty good in sunlight with just over 600 nits of brightness, making it a phone you can bring outside to show off without much issue. The Honor Note 10 has a familiar button layout for most Android users with the power and volume rocker on the right side, and a hybrid dual SIM card tray on the left. A USB-C port on the bottom is flanked by speaker grills and amplifiers. Both the top and bottom of the device have multiple grills for speaker output. About the speaker setup, it's freaking fantastic. The dual speaker setup with Dolby Atmos built in is as clear, full, and loud a sound as I've ever heard from a phone. Either playing games, watching videos, or listening to music, you'll be happy as a clam with the setup. Let me show you what I mean. This is how to use the space of a phablet for sound reproduction. I think the sound setup is the highlight feature of the Honor Note 10. Well done, Huawei. If you're enjoying this review of the Huawei Honor Note 10, make sure to press the like button. We'd love to hear your thoughts on if you prefer this phone compared with other phablet-style devices as well. Please leave your comments below and subscribe to the Gizmo China channel for more smartphone and tech goodness. When it comes to Android skins, people tend to either love or dislike Huawei's EMUI. Here, we've got EMUI 8.2 on top of Android 8.1 Oreo, and for those that love this skin, there shouldn't be many issues. Huawei has thrown in the Kirin 970 SoC that's on the Huawei P20 and P20 Pro, so definitely expect goodness in the usability department. Add to that the octa-core Cortex CPU and a very capable Mali G72 GPU to push any task with ease. Browsing the web, watching videos, and gaming fly on by without much issue. The recommended settings on PUBG, for example, are the highest available. Tested with Antutu offers a very stout 209,714 score, which is quite a high achievement for a phone in this price range. I'm testing a 6GB RAM version with 64GB of storage, and there is an option for 128GB of storage, as well as 8GB of RAM, which would make this a speed demon for sure. I got a feeling that the included and innovative 9 layers of cooling tech, including a liquid cooling method, help the phone to speed along and keep speeding along. Huawei claims an impressive 41% improvement of heat dissipation with this system, and certainly I had no problems with overheating when I was using it. Scrolling through menus is speedy enough, but the gestures aren't exactly intuitive in my opinion. I tried to use the single key navigation system, but found it less usable on this big screen than an anywhere gesture option. The Honor Note 10 has a floating navigation dock, but that tends to get in the way, so I went with the standard Android navigation option. There's a system for using knuckles to do tasks, and it works sometimes, but most of the time I couldn't get it working. I do suppose there must be a trick to it, but I just couldn't figure it out. I do love the idea of being able to use gestures to do tasks, although I'm unsure if using knuckles is the right way to get there. Huawei included only Bluetooth 4.2, and it did include NFC, but there is no wireless charging. Setting up the fingerprint scanner is simple, as all you do is press your finger and lift a few times, and it's set. Setting up the facial recognition is similar. Simply place your phone in front of your face and it'll take a quick scan. Then, next time when you want to unlock your phone, you don't have to pick it up to access the fingerprint scanner on the back. However, it took me 4 tries in plenty of bright window lighting to set mine up, as it kept failing to recognize my face. But once set up, I found the facial unlocking was pretty good. I often use the motion option, where I just pick up the phone and then facial recognition takes over and nearly instantly unlocks the phone. I like that. The Honor Note 10 is packing some serious staying power with a 5,000 milliamp battery setup. That'll certainly power you through the day and halfway into the next. When or if you run out of battery charge at about 16.5 to 17 hours of consistent use, Huawei has you covered with a speedy fast charger that'll get you charged back up faster than you'd expect with such a large battery. I'm going to start with just how cool the camera looks. It's not the so standard 2 cameras in a single bump setup that's all the rage these days, but a sleek dual bump array that looks clean, modern, and fresh. It's not the first or only phone to do this, but it looks really nice here. That said, a main 16 megapixel f1.8 shooter paired with a 24 megapixel f1.8 black and white sensor camera, kind of similar to the Huawei P20 Pro, that I guess is certainly there to help with the AI options. The main camera has fairly good detail, decent color, and decent dynamic range. The Honor Note 10 comes with quite a few of these standard type modes and includes a few groovy ones like the AI mode, although this locks the resolution unfortunately to 16 megapixels or less. It offers a monochrome mode and a fine pro mode that offers manual imaging controls. I tested most of these modes and I'm sharing some results on screen now. There's little doubt that with this camera, the best images are those taken at the highest resolution without the AI activated and with manual controls. That said, the AI with its 8 scene recognition does a fantastic job, better than most AI options that I've used in the past, to be honest with you. For the money and the pedigree of the Huawei series of devices, I expected better overall results, but feel the images are often over sharpened with too much noise reduction or just way too saturated. Again, I feel most are going to love these images from the device for social media use with very little post-processing. When it comes to videos, I find the footage to be surprisingly and unexpectedly poor, with high shutter speeds resulting in choppy videos and only electronic stabilization at 720p and 1080p. In the options available, I found the best results by far at 30 frames per second and 1080p at either 4:3 or widescreen. I found the 60 frames per second 1080p to be pretty bad, with seemingly way too much noise reduction resulting in a massive loss of detail. I believe this type of issue can be likely fixed with a firmware update, and hopefully the Honor Note team can jump on this ASAP. There are good bones in the camera setup, but I feel the software has kind of let us down a bit. But I have hope that Huawei will look at these issues and give us results that are closer to what a high mid-grade device should have. After looking at the massive Xiaomi Mi Max 3, then now this Honor Note 10, it's pretty easy to pick out which is better. But throw in the price and the value proposition might change depending on what you might use the device for most. At about 2,800 RMB or $410 for the 6GB RAM, 64GB storage option, up to 3,600 RMB or $528 for the 8GB RAM with 128GB storage.